time and I've been here before. It was it's cold before the war. I'm unstoppable. Hard work, all day. Don't run, always. Don't quit, no run. He's open for three. Bingo! All in, fired up. Watch me, rise up.
Kick out. Telford's triple. Got it.
Hi there, and welcome to London. It is the second game of the London Basketball Classics. Brought to you by Inspirus Sports. We've had a terrific first game, and now the nightcap, the second semi-final is Princeton against Army. And what a treat it is on this Thanksgiving evening. It's me, Mark Woods, joined by Mike Tuck and Kieran Ochara. And we've had a sensational first game. Northeastern edging Manhattan in overtime, and now the right to the winner play Northeastern in Saturday's final. And two teams with really proud traditions, Kieran, getting a chance to show their stuff here in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, that's always important. You know, we talked earlier on about travelling, being here, but it's a chance for conferences to kind of seek each other out, see who's going to come out and talk.
I mean, spoken about this, Mike, we don't see college basketball on this side of the Atlantic very much. We've had a treat so far, a real opportunity for British fans to sample the atmosphere. We've got the college bands, we've got cheerleading squads, all that kind of thing, to really get a sense of what college basketball is and how great it is.
Yeah, I mean, and what a sample indeed with an overtime win for Northeastern. But yeah, the college bands are here, the cheerleaders are here. We're really getting a sense of the atmosphere of what it's like to be at a Division I NCAA game in America, but here at the Copper Box in London.
Princeton, again, a team with storied traditions, playing the Ivy League, Kieran. 2-2 so far this season, and coming here with a relatively young squad, and these games an opportunity, this trip an opportunity to not just bond together, but to improve at an early stage of the year before you move into the conference schedule.
Well, they obviously had a lot of success last year, you know, and you want to build on that. And sometimes you forget how hard it was to get to where they were last year. So again, it's a chance to build some confidence, shake off the cobwebs, bond together as a team, and get ready to compete in the Ivy League this upcoming January.
And the player that is taking centre stage here, he is not quite the hometown here, but the home country here, Toshan Owoma, Princeton, the Ivy League Player of the Year last year. He's a phenomenal young talent. He's from Newcastle, just a few hours north of here. He's got friends, he's got family, and really, for all of us, we're so excited to have him back on British soil.
This is it. You know, I always say sometimes when you go over to the States, it's a destination that a lot of young players want to go to. But sometimes you lose touch with them because you're not getting to see them on a regular basis. So getting the opportunity to play in front of a home crowd, show what he can do, and actually inspire that next generation to want to succeed and do exactly what Toshan's doing at this moment in time.
Yeah, averaging 16.7 rebounds, shooting over 50% from the field, and for guys like him coming back here, it's a celebration of what he's achieved in his time over at Princeton.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, for him as a player coming here, it's a homecoming. He's coming back to home soil, and he's a guy who has all the tools to make it up to the next level. He's leading the team in pretty much every single statistical category right now, and he's playing really well. And like Kieran said, sometimes guys go over there and we kind of lose touch. We don't see what we're doing, and some of the guys kind of get lost in the mix. But he's been a guy who's gone over there to a well-known program, and he's starting to really make a name for himself. So all the success and everything, all the building blocks for success for him are lining up right now, and it's great to see him in a tournament here in London, so that the hometown fans get a look at him.
And Army, the Black Knights, 2-2 in the season, Kieran. They're a team that can score defensively. They have not been consistent so far. Coming here this evening, speaking to head coach Jimmy Allen, he said, we want to make sure that we can run our offense well. We want to be better in getting out in transition, take good shots. And that again is part of that early learning curve, that you're learning who's got the right shots at the right time.
Yeah, you know what? Seen from a statistical perspective, players have really stepped up. We've got some really talented freshmen coming in who've been inconsistent. They've had some great games which have allowed them to win, and when they've struggled to score, they've lost those games. So it's kind of get that consistency. Young Ethan Roberts there as a freshman, shooting the ball really, really well, but he's been held to 3 points his last 2 games, and that's what really struggled. So from an Army perspective, it's kind of finding that consistency with the younger players coming through and being able to deliver game every single game.
And they want to impress. They lost just 2 starters in the summer, which kind of helps with that continuity, Mike. But again, it's that point of the year where you're trying to learn what you're made of as players. You're learning who your teammates are. You can trust where's the position on the floor that they're most effective. And it's been an exciting time of year trying to figure all these little puzzles out.
Yeah, 100%. I think, you've got some really talented guys. You got a guy like Jalen Rucker, who's a junior. You've got a kid like Chris Mann, probably their best forward, who's a senior. So you've got a good mix of some veteran players with some younger players. And if you look at Army West Point, traditionally a military school, and that's kind of what the team embodies and how they play. They're going to be big. They're going to be physical. They're going to be very structured. They're going to play sometimes rigid. And I think for a team like Army West Point, they need to kind of get out, play a little bit looser, use that physicality, but also use that athleticism, get out on the break, and be able to run down the floor and play at a high level.
Well, Army coming here off a loss last weekend, 90-75 against Radford. They really were up in the first half. Were led by as much as 15 points, outscored 34-20 over those last 13 minutes. Chris Mann, you mentioned there were 23 points in the game. You're coming off, when you've had a game like that, Kieran, when you should have won, and you've had a long flight over here to think about it. Psychologically, Jimmy Allen will probably have spent a lot of time just saying, forget it, move on, new continent, new country, new game.
You're in London, you forgot about all of that. You're just embracing the experience. But you have to remember the good points that they've had thus far this season. A big win against Siena in overtime. That's a gutsy win, so they do have what it takes. That last game they had, it's forgotten about. We're in London, embracing the culture. Now let's go and play basketball.
And they've been a consistent team over the last few years. I mean, there's only 2 teams in the Patriot League where they play, Mike, who have finished in the top 5 over 3 seasons. Colgate, pre-season favourites, as they usually are. The other one, for your team there, when I guess for Coach Allen, when you've got returning guys who know the system, you're probably thinking, well, this could be our year. This is the year where we should really run them.
Yeah, I mean, basketball is obviously a game of runs, but it's also seasons of runs, and you set your teams up to make sure that you have always youthful talent that's coming in at a high level, but then also you want to develop that talent over the years, and you want to make sure that you have a good veteran core of senior, junior, and senior players. And obviously with the COVID year, we've got 5th-year seniors out there. We've seen a few tonight, so when you find that good balance of freshman, new talent, sophomore talent, mixed in with good veteran talent, it's always a recipe for success.
Well, your starters for Princeton, as they were at the weekend, Landberg, Loco, Pierce, Uwoma, Kalman. As for Army, Rucker, Benson, Mann, Roberts and Peterson are the starting 5. We are underway. It is Princeton in white. It is Army in black. And it is Uwoma getting the first touch of the ball. Came out in the court there by himself to take a round of applause. Lots of people excited just to have him home.
And a big rebound there by Peterson. He's been leading Army in rebounds this season. Good strong hands, catching the ball with 2 hands.
Easy score inside for Chris Mann.
You see Princeton throwing the double team at the post there, but obviously when you throw a double team, it leaves another player open, and Army able to capitalize on that.
Nothing but air from that attempt. Shot clock at 15. Two teams settling early into the rhythm. Well, we're joined by one of the masterminds behind all this, Gareth O'Garve, Inspirus Sports, also head of the Sport Changes Life Foundation, that's really trying to use sport to change opportunities, create opportunities. Gareth, first and foremost, it's your event. How's it looking? How are you feeling about it?
How could you complain after that last game, guys? My goodness. 3 of the last plays in any game, if you're a basketball person. It's great, isn't it? You guys enjoying it?
Loving it. Yeah. Absolutely loving
Especially bringing you two boys back to your roots again. That's what it is.
Well, that's what I was saying to Mike earlier on. Seeing those young legs, it's inspired me to get back doing some plyometrics.
It's kind of depressed me. I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, to be honest, I struggled walking up and down the stairs. I don't know about you boys.
Gareth, I mean, it's 2 tournaments kind of in a month. You guys had the tournament in Dublin, Ireland last week. Do you get that sense that there's a growing appetite for US college teams, not just to play over here, but to showcase, market themselves, and kind of broaden their appeal into Europe, because we sometimes don't really notice college basketball?
Well, it's funny, we're talking to the Barking Abbey guys when I think it was one of the universities visited. I think Princeton visited, and it brings a bit of realism to basketball players here. Everybody thinks they can play Division I basketball. The boys here could do that. Very few understand how tough that is to go into that world. And it's great for kids here to actually see this. There's a couple of parents down there that have approached me thanking me, saying, listen, it's just great for my son, my daughter to be here, just to actually see this, to really understand. These are students. These are university students. So, it's about inspiring. That's why it's for Inspirus Sports, to try and make people think either they can or can't achieve these things. So being close and up personal is very important.
I mean, you've talked about it from the perspective as a player, Kieran, and Mike. You're a parent who's got daughters playing in college basketball at Houston Baptist. What do you sense they're getting from that experience? Not just, let's set aside the education, but away from that, the life experience.
Well, we've lost our 3 daughters. I'm glad you 2 guys came home. I don't think my daughters are coming home, unfortunately. Do you know what? It's taught them. 2 of them have had a great time, and one of them who's finished, she found it really hard. She had a really tough time. Different coaches, different things. So life things, life issues. Understanding empathy around the people that she's with on the team. People like her who are not playing, understanding how tough it can be when a coach gets fired and you're told to leave. Like, that's real life stuff, and that's what's happening. There's a negative element to this. That is definitely happening. It's increased with the new portal. I'm sure you're all aware of the portal in the States. There's a lot of things changing in the game. So it's ironically, what we're trying to do is pick teams that they're not suffering from that too much. These are not 2 schools that there's a lot of change going on, so you get balance in the games. But the girls, they're experiencing, it's a different world. Obviously, from my perspective, getting them out of Northern Ireland was very important. Northern Ireland, I love it, it's my home, but it has these issues, and I want them to experience the world, and so they're very lucky. And because of the scholarship program we created, they've lived their life around Americans, so there was no way they were going to stay in Northern Ireland at any stage, But they're very happy. They're very happy.
Princeton with a chance here to get their first score on the board. Matt Aluko going to the foul line. Man, with all the points so far for Army. And sport changes lives. You've been doing so much great things throughout Northern Ireland, bringing college students, former college students, Americans to work in the communities and really trying to make a difference, guys.
Yeah, and you know what? It works. It works. Like, see, either you 2 guys walk into the gym, you know the impact that you have. You know it straight away. You know the kids light up and they want to talk to you. It's just to be around you, and that's what we've been creating for years now, for the last 15, 20 years. It's why we got access to these tournaments. People trusted us. We took American kids over for over 200 students, to 200 scholars, working with 112 American universities in terms of selecting those students. They work with thousands of kids every year, helping, in a variety of ways. And obviously during the pandemic, that's all been tough. But everything's been tough, and we've all had to learn to live in a different way, But I listen to you 2 guys, and it's great. You see what's going on with the PBL at the minute. You're a part of that rise again of the game, both phenomenal careers, and it's lovely to watch it again on Sky TV. How are you guys enjoying it? Are you enjoying that whole thing again? I'm sure you have to be.
It keeps you involved, and that's the thing. Even tonight, being around the college scene again, it's great. It makes you want to connect with your college and kind of see how things are getting on, because it's important. It's important to be able to inspire that next generation. It's important to feel that there is a legacy there too.
And basketball is a sleeping giant in the UK and Ireland. We know that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think since I've gotten here, the game has just kept growing and growing and growing, and now we're seeing this whole new, investment within the league, and we're seeing tournaments like this pop up. And I think, like you said, it reminds me a lot of what Canada was about 20 years ago, where there's a lot of untapped talent here. There's a lot of kids that really want to play the game here, but they haven't figured it out yet. Now, all those infrastructures are starting to pop up, and it's only a matter of time before we start seeing a lot of guys big make it to higher levels, bigger names, NBA, all that kind of thing. So it's great to be a part of it. Like Kieran said, we're just very blessed to be a part of Sky Sports, be a part of that team, being able to promote the game we love, and like you are, inspire that next generation.
And I tell you, there'll be a lot of parents from Princeton. I know Princeton parents and Army parents were really keen to get this feed, so there'll be a lot of people listening, and what they've got to understand is how much we appreciate them making the difference to come here and be a part of that. And then you guys are people who have played at the highest level here and now get to see that their kids can come over and achieve this and play Europe. Because the NBA is not the only way. There's other ways, and there are players out here could definitely play here in these leagues.
For sure.
No doubt.
It's a fantastic space. I mean, you and I, Garth, we got to start playing in small leisure centres in Belfast in the back end of nowhere during not a particularly great time in Belfast, but Nari here. Look, your journey's been fantastic. Say here we're taking college basketball. You have a tournament in Dubai as well in the past. Is this the start of a London Classic on an annual basis where reveal the secrets? What's the plan?
100%. We want to stay here, but part of this, we're not stepping on people's toes, not annoying anybody, because that can happen. Here are we coming in here to do this, so we're looking for partners. Maybe we'll partner with the Lions if they want. We're certainly going to be partnering with Hoopsfix. The guy's amazing. His stuff is amazing. Obviously, we'd like to partner with, and we want to create a partnership and maybe go into different cities in England. That would definitely be, I'm sure some of the teams would love us to host this in their arena. Leicester, they've a great Leicester, Sheffield, great facility. Newcastle, great facility. And become a part of it with the different BBL teams and really bring it into the community, because these universities are really keen to work with people. They're all about globalization. They're all about increasing their international student recruitment. They're all about finding players. Something happened this weekend that could not have happened 4 years ago. So when we were selecting ball boys or the floor sweepers, we weren't allowed to use anybody who was over the age of 14 because of recruitment issues within the NCAA. We were actually able to bring them. We brought them into Barking Abbey over the last 2 days. We weren't allowed to do that 4 years ago. So there's a lot of change and a lot of good things happening to allow us to do different things and explore different benefits to kids here.
What about the standard of play here? As one of my all-time favourite shooting guards, there's been some phenomenal shooting here tonight, and you see the quality of the guys that you've got here and that you've brought over.
Do you know what? See, when you're practicing, when you're at practice and you watch them, you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys play at that level. You know what I'm talking about. It's impressive every time you stand beside it. It's funny, somebody said to me, and you hear people talking about this, and it's probably a lot of nonsense. Got to increase the height of the basket. Joking, point guards are getting up ridiculous levels. And it's just, the standard has been phenomenal. When we were in Dublin last week, the standard was phenomenal, and it was lovely to see it. It was lovely to see the enthusiasm of the crowd. But it's like everything else. This is going to grow again. In Belfast, when we did it 2 years ago, or 4 years ago, the last 2 Saturdays, I feel sorry for Manhattan. They got beaten a buzzer beater, if you remember.
Yeah.
And that hit the top 10 play of the week in Sports Centre. So it's pretty cool. That last game was unbelievable.
Unreal. What a great showcase for the game over here.
Awesome.
Overtime games, that's what you want to see. Close games.
Nearly double overtime.
And the great thing is we get to do all the game on Saturday, Gareth.
Yeah, well, listen, you know what? Saturday should be good. Bigger crowd again. I guess, as the parents who are watching this, they need to understand the impact that this is having. And I'm repeating myself, but as more people start to see this and start to grow it, and it's good for coaches to get to see players maybe that they want.
For sure.
To recruit for the future.
And tickets still available for anyone watching at home.
Absolutely.
Who wants to come along on Saturday and experience this in the flesh.
Well, ironically, I have to be a wee bit biased. I'm hoping not going to get into trouble. So I actually felt sorry for Manhattan. I love Northeastern, but because Manhattan competed in the playoff or in the final in Belfast, I would have liked them to get the final this year. But do you know what? And I think it's people to understand. Being the champion of London, the first champion of London in college basketball in this event is a very, very important. They really want to do it. Believe it or not, it was huge when people won Belfast. This is very important to the colleges to win this.
Yeah, I think so. It's a part of history, right?
100%.
If this is looking to be a reoccurring event, you know, the teams over here, obviously, London, one of the biggest cities in the world, one of the most famous cities in the world. Big event like this over multiple years, you want to be that first, don't you?
Absolutely. And I've asked you guys, do you think we should rotate this around England into different cities or keep it in London?
I'll take it to Scotland. But then Kieran and I are biased.
I think you should bring it to the Sheffield Sharks brand new arena that's going to be finished in August 2023.
That must be exciting.
Definitely, it's huge. I mean, it's a big thing in the BBL now that teams, we've seen it with Leicester, we've seen it with Newcastle, teams building their own arenas. The game is headed in a good direction, and now obviously Bristol and my adopted hometown Sheffield Sharks building the PCA, the Park Community Arena. It's exciting, and once those four teams have arenas, that's 40% of the league there with their own venues, and that's a trend that hopefully continues, that eventually the whole BBL will have their own venues and not have to rely on outside sources to play in.
Yeah, it's good. Even like the London Lions, who played here, their home games here mostly this season, playing at bigger venues, the famous Wembley Arena, playing in European competition as well. Lots of investment coming in from American owners there who have big plans for the team. It's a real feel-good factor about the British game.
I think I have to put Belfast in there. It has to be there.
Hey, I'd love to see a team in Belfast.
That's a priority now, and the big issue we've been talking to the league for a number of years now, and the big issue is a venue. And we think we've got it sorted, and we're about to send something through.
Tell us. Tell the world now. Reveal it all.
Pardon?
Reveal
I can't
it all.
really. No, I'm not allowed.
Oh,
to.
go on. You can't.
I would get into trouble. No, we genuinely are moving it forward now. It's just, this is proving to people that we can actually do big. Go big. BBL needs big.
Yep.
It needs new investment. It needs big, and it's gotten that investment. But can I just point out one thing before I'll come back to that in a minute? This is the kind of thing that works when you're working with these universities. So working with Army and West Point, we're now creating veterans programs and bringing veterans to Ireland to work on, community engagement strategies. And these are the kind of things you can develop with these wonderful institutions. And they're so keen to work with you. Two nice plays. Are you getting used to their names?
Of course.
Of course you are. Professionals as you are.
Oh, it's a shootout at this moment in time.
We got a shootout.
We're just calling them all the big fellas from America, apart from the big fella from Newcastle.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about Army is that they don't put the names on the back. It just says West Point, so that's really easy to cover.
Here's one of those big fellas from America, Peterson.
Oh, big boys. Big boys. We spoke to that young man's parents that gave him the point.
Well, here is the Geordie boy. Offensive foul.
How good do you think do you think he can become?
I think I've said it before the game. I think I've played with him at a basketball England camp before and guarded him, played with him. I think he's leveled up every year since he's been over there, and I think he's got all the tools to do it. He's got the height, he's got the athleticism, he's got the IQ, and obviously he's got the talent. He can shoot, he can rebound, he's physical. I think he has all the tools to do it.
I think the great thing I liked this week, I was listening to the very excellent Hoopsfix podcast, and if you haven't heard it, the episode with Tosan this week, talking about his journey, the fact as Mike said, he's looked to improve, but having gone to America, he wasn't recruited. It was a almost a fluke in a sense. These things, it's persistence of coaches. But now he's going, I want to play in the NBA, I want to play for GB, I want to play in big stages, because he's had his horizons raised. But also, the great thing about him as well, one of the reasons he chose Princeton and went there, he's very bright. He wants to succeed in life. I think he wanted originally to become a doctor like his father, got into basketball, but he's used college to learn on the floor and off it.
It's funny, who I was talking to today when we were watching one of the practices, I think it was Army we were watching, talking to one of the guys that plays, and he was just saying that, it is a lot of luck in terms of getting into the right place at the right, I'm sure super players don't get into those situations. There's a kid called, I don't know if you know him, CJ, Adrian, CJ Folk, kid from Northern Ireland. He didn't have anywhere to go. He was getting chased by Notre Dame, and then that all with the portal and then the 5th year and all of that stuff with Thomas States. Look what he's doing. He was recruited heavy, and then it all went away. And look how well he's doing in Lafayette now. So kids can play, and a lot of people are saying that he can go a long way. Be interested to see where he goes if he develops his body. But it just shows you kids like that can do it.
It's all about the genetics, though. His dad can play a bit.
He can play a bit. He's still chest pass for a jump shot, though. That's his only criticism.
He just can't
jump.
No,
he's phenomenal. CJ, but the difference is, and Adrian and I joke, Adrian didn't lift weights. CJ lifts weights, and you can see the difference in his ability already. He's holding people off, he's managing, just like a lot of these guys.
Well, that's what I'm looking at Army today. I can see that they definitely.
Were you at the practice? Were you there? It's unbelievable, isn't it?
So they're quite an intense group, and that's the thing when it comes into these close games. A team like Army, they still have that extra thing, and that was the thing for me in the States in general. The level, the importance of strength and conditioning, it was something that was definitely a priority, which that wasn't the same when I grew up in the UK, and it's changing. But the Americans, they definitely know how to get you in good shape.
But I think it goes back to your point about having facilities, having your own arena. Then it's easier for players to go in and do the workouts and spend time in that. We were talking about that the other night. In Dublin, it's one of the colleges, and they were asking us what is the difference. Sorry, I'll tell a lie, the head coach of Princeton, he was asking the difference. And a lot of people are alluding it through. Most basketball programs don't have their own facility, unless it's the top level.
Two teams really going at it here in this first half. 11 minutes left on it. Army 18, Princeton 14.
They're all looking to shoot it from outside, aren't they?
Princeton struggling from outside, though. Just 2 of 6 from 3. Can they make this one? Runs out. Army, a patient game, led by 7 points from Chris.
Very disciplined, aren't they?
It's that early season thing. You want to impress your coach.
Yeah.
And coaches want you to learn and develop. Just 4 games in. SWAT team comes across from Pierce.
Princeton really fundamentally sound on the defensive end. They're following their assignments. The help side defense is there. When they need to double, they do double. And picking up little turnovers like this one on the break.
Peters drove inside. Stopped, though. Benson, big 3. Just off the mark. Rebound by Aloka. He's got a team high 7 points for the Tigers. So we reached the midway point in this first half. Scramble for the rebound. Army with it.
Made it.
That was a Shackton play. And the making didn't quite get there. Army recover.
I met, I don't know what his name is, number 2 for Army last night. Met his parents, just wonderful people. He shook my hand, and I knew he shook my hand.
Colton Benson. Was it an iron grip?
Freshman. It was not a freshman
with the eye contact.
I remembered it. I remember. Very impressed right away.
Military grip.
100%. But the reason why it brought me up is the detail by what you're talking about defensively that they work, coming off screens and picking it up, like really precision. It's incredible.
Do you ever wish? I mean, you stayed and played so many years for Star of the Sea as it was then, but did you ever wish you had that opportunity to go to the States when you were younger rather than staying at home?
Long story short, I did, but my mom and I, it was only my mom and I at home, and that was it. My mom took ill, and that was just one of those old stories, either an injury, a family thing, or you got a girl, and that was it. But no, it wasn't an option. Strong bodies, don't they?
But you could have been at Madison Square Garden on a Friday night. Instead, you and I were at Macefield Leisure Centre.
We're at Macefield Leisure Centre, banging on, pretend we knew what we were talking about.
My favourite Macefield story was, and I don't know if you were there. Maybe you were. It was Kevin Krieg and I were there, your old teammate, my old teammate. There was one Friday that we were supposed to be practicing, and we were told we couldn't practice normal because this American band was playing, and we snuck in for a few baskets, and suddenly these American guys decided that they wanted to practice with us. We shot around for half an hour and they said, "We want to go, do you want to stay?" And we were like, "Yeah, who's playing?" They went, "REO Speedwagon." And we were scrimmaging with the band and they invited us to a concert, but neither of our parents allowed us to stay.
That was good. I think I remember that story actually.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Things just start not to drop, Man got off to such a strong start, but they're kind of working out defensively.
Princeton, though, still struggling from deep. 2 of 10 from beyond
That's a tough
the arc.
call.
Shooting the ball very well.
It's the thing about college basketball, I'm sure you all notice, is that sometimes scoring it, their defense is so good, they struggle to score. They really find it tough to score.
It's the composure, once it's been a grueling battle because the defense is so strong that they forget to finish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Army with 5 turnovers in the last 4 minutes. Need to regain that composure.
I put that kiss of death. I said they were so disciplined.
Shot clock violation.
Yeah.
Great defense by the Tigers.
I thought that hit the rim there.
Yeah. It's what's really beautiful about this whole thing, guys, is that they're two very strong institutions, but the kids, the students, they feel so happy and privileged to be here. They recognise what's going on. They're not taking it for granted.
There's Iwoma. Wants to put
They seem to have tied him up. They've tied him up a bit, haven't they?
Long-range effort doesn't go.
No.
It's good defensive effort from Army there, really plugging up the holes and the gaps. Bit of a more chaotic game here from Princeton. I'm sure that the coaching staff will want them to settle down and get into an offense.
Xavier Lee with the tear chop. Save by Iwoma. Shot clock eventually resets at 20. Lee bumped as he went into the lane.
Have to say, if you can, go out of your way and get speaking to the two coaches. Two gentlemen. Two really good guys.
Well, I spoke to Jimmy Allen this morning of Army. So excited to be here, but again, as you said, so excited for the opportunity for his kids, his young men, to get something different. So many of them who haven't been out of the States before, and this is such an opportunity here, to travel, to experience London, experience the UK, and to bond with their teammates. It's the sort of thing you're 18, 19, 20 years of age that you really want to get, because otherwise it's backpacking in the summer, and it's a bit more expensive.
Oh, definitely. And now you've got social media now too, so you can show off to all your friends. Look where I am.
That's such an important part of it now. So it is where you are, what you're doing right there, and letting everybody see it.
We can see where Watson was in this overtime thriller with Manhattan versus Northeastern here, and he was a huge spark for Manhattan down the stretch, able to finish in traffic on this one here. But Northeastern able to weather that storm. Buchanan leading scorer for Manhattan through this opening season. Huge and one play for him here to help send the team into overtime. And Watson again, the dip pass to Roberts, who had an incredible double-double on the night. 17 points, 15 rebounds, making it look effortlessly. But Bridgeton, huge three in the overtime. Roberts again, so many huge plays in that first game of the London Basketball Classic, and aren't we blessed to have that as our first game here, and the fans here to get that as their first sample of NCAA basketball.
Yeah, offense though a premium here in this game. Both these teams going 5 minutes without a basket now, and after that early intensity, both these coaches will have been in the timeouts, maybe trying to draw up plays, just get something going, try and get that momentum back.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, both teams struggled from beyond the arc in that first match, and we saw a lot of downhill action towards the basket. Most of the damage was done in the paint. And we noticed that Northeastern finally got used to it in that second half, especially in the overtime. They really found their shooting rhythm from beyond their arc. 3 huge threes hit in that overtime to seal the win for them.
Yeah, last 5 minutes was so good, wasn't it? And then going into the overtime.
Xavier Lee, after that timeout, finally goes to the line, finally gets his first score of this contest, cuts the gap to 3.
And Princeton's been a little bit flat. We talk about Tosan and coming back home, he's maybe feeling that a little bit of pressure. But at the same time, from an Army perspective, they're backing off him. They're kind of coax them to shoot the ball. And right now, he's a little bit tentative, trying to get downhill and get to the basket.
Xavier Lee, though, being from Toronto, is obviously going to kick things off, Mike.
Oh, that's it, man. More fellow Canadians out there. We're just
Ness responds at the other end.
Planting ourselves all over the world here. It's good to see so many Canadian players in the NCAA. And like I said, I think there's a lot of similarities to what Canada was about 10, 15 years ago to where the UK is now. So it'd be great to see more players like Tosin, British-born, United Kingdom-born players.
Well, it's a real change of perspective. A guy that you and I knew very well, the late, great Kevin Cadle, probably the greatest coach we've had in the British League. I remember him saying to me, probably about 15 years ago, it's fine having Canadians, but you'll never win anything with them.
Oh, here we go.
Perception has changed. Wow. Perception has changed.
I can't.
That's on the record.
I'm not going to, the late, great Cadle, I can't say anything bad about that, man. No. I can't argue at that point right now.
Yeah, with a point, but not with Kevin's wisdom.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh. I mean, I've won some things. Come on now.
Yeah, that was more than 15 years ago, sure.
No, here we go. as old as I am, Mark, I'll always be younger than you, brother.
That is true. That is true. Army's lead at 6. As we pass the 6 minute to go mark, Jared Cross extending their advantage.
Army just looking that little bit more put together here on both ends of the floor. Great defensive effort from them, and offensively staying pretty disciplined.
They've done a really good job defensively, moving their feet. And I was wondering, I see Rucker, standout player, a little bit undersized, but he's really good at using his body, gets into the legs of the bigger players, really making it difficult. But yeah, they're really well drilled at this moment in time defensively, and really Princeton have no answer at this moment.
And Princeton, a team that either tends to score on the perimeter or in the paint, in the inside, close to the basket. They don't really have that mid-range game. And one of the keys tonight for Jimmy Allen was to make sure that he didn't allow both. Maybe they get scores in the perimeter, maybe they score inside, but we can't let them do both and get into that rotation, and they've done a really good job of that so far.
Yeah, well, one place they're definitely not scoring from is from beyond the arc. Only 2 of 12 right now, 16%. Really struggling from beyond the arc, and I think Army's really done a good job of noticing that, backing off, inviting the shot, but at the same time able to close the gaps and sit back in that zone, plug the paint up a little bit, make it hard for them inside.
That's off 2 of 2 from the line.
I think your point is very important. They seem flat. They don't seem buzzed whatsoever. There's no sharpness.
Well, someone who shouldn't be flat tonight, enjoying this stage.
But you're right. There's sometimes when you come back and you're all excited and you're thinking of all of the families here, it can be tough. And you don't even know it's tough until you're there.
I know, it's 4 points. Here he is on the ball. Those players that kind of point center. Here he is in sight. Tosan time.
2 buckets in a row. Here we go.
And gets the bonus.
Be nice to see him. It would have been nice to see him play in Newcastle. He did this up in Newcastle. But he said he had to
drive here to drag the defense and big time finish from the hometown kid, home country kid rather. Tosin getting it done above the rim.
I mean, you say about Newcastle Eagles' local team. Ian McLeod, who was the coach there, but still very much involved, was the player that coached him as he was growing up. But he said one of the big things was being able to scrimmage and practice with the Eagles, the senior team in the BBL, to learn from them. Not just to challenge themselves, but to learn what they did, how they carried themselves, and how they went about things in practice on a daily basis. So when he went to the States, he had that bank of knowledge already there.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a real advantage for some Europeans who do come over, when they've been playing against men their whole careers. Now they're getting a chance to play with people their own age.
You had it Falkirk here.
Yes.
He's woke up. Here he is. Here he is.
Avoma has woke up, and not only that, he's getting the opportunity to get downhill now, in his comfort zone.
1 point ball game. Princeton on a roll. 7 points for Avoma. 4:20 left in the first.
Ooh. And I'd love to ask you guys this. A lot of people would have said, why are we bringing college basketball here? There's a lot of good basketball here. And I've been challenged that in Ireland quite a bit, in relation to why you're bringing these guys here. Why should we go and watch this instead of watching our own team? And I try to tell people, my opinion is it's great for kids to see different variations of the game from different places, just to see how it's played. And these are great athletes.
Well, to me, this is a part of the pathway. It's a crucial part of the pathway is becoming a top-level pro, and a lot of people, some people are going pro at a younger age, but actually the college system will and will continue to be one of the ambitions of a young player. So being able to see that, have that, it's palpable, it's right there, you can then achieve that. That's what you want to achieve. So I think it's a great opportunity. For me, there's a lot of reminiscing. This is the start of their journeys for a lot of those players. It's a great thing.
And you guys had a great career.
Caelan Pearce's first bucket. 1 point ball game. Defense from Avoma, the difference maker there. Opportunity.
It's certainly picking up a bit now, isn't it?
Princeton has a chance to take the lead. Lee steps back.
Ooh.
And he makes it.
And just like that spark.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Big offensive rebound to a finish, and now the momentum is with Princeton.
Running it. Yeah.
First lead of the evening for the Princeton Tigers. It comes from Xavier Lee, who now has 5 points. And basketball is a game of runs, but Princeton are finding their stride.
Yeah. And a lot of the Princeton alumni in the crowd tonight as well.
See that over the side,
which is great to see. You feel a part of your university experience that never leaves you.
And Princeton on a great run here, especially on the offensive end, taking their first lead of the game. And for me, that started with Tosin, Evan Bomwan, scoring those 2 in a row, really getting himself going. He looks like a player who looks much more comfortable in the open court instead of in a half-court situation. I think he got a couple easy buckets there, and that really sparked this offense for Princeton. They're starting to play a lot more loose.
Princeton made the last 5 field goal attempts, now shooting 38% from the field, having struggled early on. Not quite in that early stages finding, I guess, a stride defensively, but that's really been the catalyst that's turned into offense. That's probably been the switch in this last 5 minutes, Kieran.
Yeah, and you know what? Army was doing a great job defensively and really deflated Princeton. Princeton started to get a little bit of energy, scoring a couple of easy buckets down low, and it's really changed the trajectory of this game.
And Princeton, a team that's conceded an average of 69 points per game so far this term, and a team that's hung itself on that this year. And you look at the record so far, they lost by 6 on their opener to Hofstra, lost to Navy by 1, then had a big win against UMWC, and then last weekend won by 7 against Marist. Start off, you struggle, then you get the 2 wins in a row, everything is roses again. And
as soon as you win that second one, it now becomes a streak, That's really good for the confidence. Then you're going to a game, we talk about going to a neutral venue, getting that London experience, but they've had their winning ways the last couple of games. Those first 2 games are completely forgotten about.
Here's a question we asked you, Gareth. Mara's played in the Belfast Classic, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Glad you nodded your head in agreement with that. How do you pick the teams? Who decides who goes where?
It's really, we've been very lucky. We wanted to go mid-major in most cases to make sure these games are competitive. We don't want people coming in here and blowing somebody up with 40 points, then there's no point. The 2 tournaments of Belfast both finished the last play games. Last play, both of them. You can't buy that. Even the last game, like those last 2 plays in the last game, phenomenal. Bit that I couldn't work out in the last game, that substitution mistake. I didn't understand that. I still don't know what happened there.
Administrative technical foul.
Is that what it was called? Yeah,
that's the terminology. we all learn something new.
Right. Now you're talking about it's lovely you're picking out the alumni over on the far side from Princeton. There's a lot of alumni from each of the universities here, but it's an important part of this, and it's an important part if we do this and do this right for the BBL and for basketball here, because you're bringing over big American families who would love being here and love being a part of this, and you can open that door, open those minds to them getting involved.
One person I'm wondering, you might know if he's on the guest list this weekend, Mitch Henderson, Princeton's coach, best friend, Jesse Murch, manager, head coach of Leeds United, Princeton alumni. The ticket request from Ellen Road?
But you know what, we were going to have a bit of an event, and we were going to ask him to be a keynote speaker, but we didn't get to that point now.
2 of them still very close, following each other's coaching journeys.
Yeah.
I've also saw there's some NBA scouts in the attendance today. Former teammate of mine, Flo Larkai, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah. One of the Wizards agents is here on Saturday night.
So from a young player's perspective, get to shine and have those NBA aspirations.
Yeah.
Incredible how deep into the paint Rucker is able to drive with his size. He's getting anywhere he wants on the floor. Incredible strength and balance from the young guard here.
You're making a great point, though. Army are really trying to dictate the pace on this, aren't they? Slowing it right down, making it dead defensively, slowing it in offense. They don't want Princeton getting back into that running game.
Definitely not.
Rucker last year led the all-rookie team of the Patriot League, led the Patriot League in 3 points made and percentage. Another player out of Baltimore.
An all-league prediction this year too, so the Patriot League knows exactly what he can do.
Yeah.
6 points for him in this game. Ties it up. Lee. Nowhere to go. Gets it out to Pierce. Shot clock ticks down to 10.
Such a quick release, Lee.
Unbelievable.
Real quick release.
Into the lane, and a tough score.
Strong boy.
Jalen Rucker.
And again, Rucker just dictating the pace with his defender and getting anywhere he wants on the floor. very strong, tough guard, hard to stay in front of.
And he can put points on the board. Remember his freshman year, dropped 21, 29 last season. He's already got 9 tonight.
Bank shot from Moloko ties the game at 30 apiece. 1:39 left in this first half. Here at the Copper Box Arena, the London Basketball Classic. We've had one classic, and this one's shaping up to be just the same. Pierce with all the time in the world, couldn't convert that. Well, the Nest checks back in for Army. Will do when the officials clear it.
He's a strong kid, isn't he?
That's the third personal foul for Lee and 10th team foul.
I always say guards with a low centre of gravity, undersized guards, low centre of gravity. The ones who are super aggressive, and they can angle their body, finish at the paint. They're really tough to play against.
And as a big, you'll attest to this. You hate playing against guards like that because anytime you get the ball in the post or you're dribbling low, it's those guys are the ones that pick your pocket, come knock it out of your hands, and they're so annoying to play against. They're very frustrating. And that's Rucker. Rucker, he's that undersized guard, but he's strong. He's physical, and he plays with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's got that energy to him. He's got that bit of grit to him. Really enjoying watching his game tonight.
Leads all scores with 11 points. We approach the final minute. Awoma looking to stump his authority on this game.
It's really interesting to see they're guarding Awoma right now because there's always a help player. They're taking away the gaps, making it really, really difficult for him to get downhill.
I said to my wife today when we were watching them in practice, I said, how many ways can you teach defense in terms of help and responding and somebody making a strong move? It's just incredible, the detail. I know I'm repeating this, I said this earlier on, but the detail was just incredible to watch it. I don't know if as a player I would have had the mental capacity to be able to concentrate for that long with them. I just don't know if I'd have coped with it.
And that's the difference between good and great. It's having that consistency to pay attention to the detail and stick to the plan.
Absolutely. Actually, my wife said I definitely could not have kept to the detail and listened and concentrated, so I was told very quickly, given the answer.
She's trying to say she would have.
She definitely would have, but no, not me.
Well, Awoma, for all that apparent quietness of his first half, has 10 points now.
Yep.
5 rebounds as well. Still though, Army lead into the last minute of the first half. Rucker looks for the opportunity, back out to Roberts off the front of the rim. Such great ball control. What a finish!
Picking it up. He's picking it up. He's picking it up.
5 for 6 for the Geordie boy.
Unreal finish for the Newcastle native. Bumps him up to 12 points, leading all scorers. And a little bit of a quiet start from the big fella, but he's definitely picked it up down the stretch in this first half here.
What's he on now?
12 points.
12 points. Just want to say, guys, if you don't mind, I just want to say really appreciate you guys doing this. It means a lot. I know Mark gave you guys a hard time. Mark, executive director of the whole thing, and he was very excited when you all said yes. So we really appreciate it. I know you've all got a good relationship with him. So from us, it means a lot because you're professionals. You're really good at what you do. We love watching you in the BBL. I mean, it's really fun. So thanks very much for doing this. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate the whole thing.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, thank you for having us.
But unfortunately, you're not going to get away now from now on. You're going to be tied into it from now on.
Deal.
Shake on it.
We appreciate everything you do at Sports Change Life. If you want to know more about Gareth and the work that they do and how you can support it, you can head to sportschangeslife.com, and continued success with that, Gareth, with this weekend and well beyond it.
Please God, yeah, really appreciate it, guys. Means an awful lot. It's nice to sit with you guys. Nice to sit with 2 legends and you. 3 legends.
So which one were you talking to? Who's the odd one out here? There we go. 20 seconds left at the end of the first half. Possession for Army. Rucker. No, awesome. Go. 10 seconds to go. Princeton with a 1-point lead. Can they extend it?
Oh my goodness.
Langborg from way out. 2 seconds left. Surely impossible. Not even a heave. It is. The Tigers leading Army 33-32 at the end of the first half. And after an uncertain start, Kieran, Tigers bearing their claws.
And you know, we talk about close games. Another 1-point game. Missed shot there by Rucker. 6 seconds to go. Could have been the difference in this game thus far. But it's great to see Princeton lighting it up, finding ways. Army got off to a really good start. Princeton started to claw back in.
We'll see some of the highlights here of the first half. And early on, Army really took control of that. They found the stride. They were up 15-8 at one point, and the shots were just going in, Mark.
Yeah, I think they took their time on the offensive end. They were really breaking them down in the half court. Just taking what the defense was giving them, but then, you know, look at action here from Tosin. He was the key in that last 5 to 10 minutes of that first half there. He was the one who really got them going, and this was the play here that kind of sparked Princeton to get themselves going, and they were able to, you know, equalize and then finish the half up 1. So they've got to be happy with that effort from Tosin, but also from the rest of the guys. And I think the difference was that they got more settled into their style of play. You know, Army was doing a great job on the defensive end and kind of forcing them to play a certain way, but now they're a little bit more free-flowing and the ball was moving a little bit better. Yeah,
and Tosin leading all scorers with 12 points in this game. Princeton shooting 36 in the field. Jalen Rucker has been outstanding. 11 points to lead Army. It is a very close game. There's nothing in it. Second half promises to be great. We'll be back with that very, very soon.
What is victory to you? Normally, victory is associated with winning. But what do you think? We as Victory Scholars represent these 3 words. Sport changes life. We believe that you can achieve victory in every aspect of your life. I believe in inspiring young people and a good education. This sport has changed my life. But I don't just believe in victory. I am victory. Apply now at sportchangeslife.com.
We're building for the future. We're here to shape lives. We're making an impact. We're making a change. On and off the pitch. Because we are a family and we take care of our own. For Eileen, that's friendship. A way back in from the cold.
I was in a very bad place. My marriage had broken up. I had really bad depression and anxiety. I nearly lost my children, really, because they just didn't know how to cope. Everyone has their breaking point, and I certainly hit mine.
It's kindness, it's warmth, it's friendship.
Where we're all older, everyone's experienced everything there is in life to experience, all the ups and downs. So whatever's happened to you, you'll always find someone that you can speak to that's been in a similar position. We've done really well with some elderly men who've lost their wives and been lost, really, and then they've tried to get their lives back together. And they've come, and honestly, leaps and bounds, and it's changed so many people's lives.
And it's there for everyone.
I've had so many wonderful experiences with the old days. I wouldn't even know where to start. It's just been brilliant.
For Ashley, it's new beginnings in the face of many challenges.
Background and growing up, I guess it was hard because I'm not from, so to say, a privileged background. English wasn't my first language. And coming to this country, having to learn it quickly, I struggled with education, like throughout my primary school years.
It's a path forward, a platform for a prosperous future.
being able to give young people the opportunity when they thought that they didn't have it, it's just like special to my heart.
And now she's looking forwards, not back. And for Frankie, it's the love of the game.
Before this, I didn't have much opportunities anywhere, to be honest. Jim brought me in last summer for the second chance scheme because football wasn't really going my way. I'd been on trial at a few clubs and it wasn't really working out.
It's the chance to fulfill a dream.
I came in, worked hard for a month or two, just kept my head in the game, played, and I got my opportunity. So for any other young footballers that want to do it, you know, if you just work hard and you keep motivated, then you'll get the chance.
And this is the next step in his journey.
So right now it's all about keeping up my fitness and taking a chance when it's ready. Because a lot of clubs have been asking for me to join, but I'm just waiting for that right time, that I'm peaking my fitness, making sure I'm steady on all my little attributes I need to work on, and then going for it.
This is our family.
This is our future.
This is our foundation.
On a campus full of the unexpected, you'll find a place unlike any other. Alumni all over the world, minutes from Midtown Manhattan, on 23 beautiful acres. We're Jaspers. We welcome distinction and embrace you as you are. Here, your worldview expands. You build unbreakable bonds, and you serve the greater good, where you'll prepare for a life of meaning and become who you're meant to be.
Welcome to Ireland for the Mac Ason Dublin Basketball Challenge presented by Inspirus Sports in the home of hoops at the National Basketball Arena, Dublin. Inspirus Sports was created to build on the success of the first ever NCAA collegiate basketball tournaments held in Europe. Working with their partners, the Sport Changes Life Foundation, the teams have been out in the community visiting primary schools, speaking with the children and growing the game of basketball.
This was really cool, interacting with the kids here. Videos, TikToks, dancing. They just were really, really excited. And that's a big part of it too, is just seeing the smiles on their faces and building that connection and realizing the importance of just the effect that they can have through the sport itself.
It was a lot of fun to learn about them and share our culture back in America. It's been really nice to hear them what dreams they want to have, the questions they had, and then we played some basketball. They were dancing, we were hula hooping, so it was really fun to meet them.
It's an opportunity for us to give back. It's so much bigger than basketball, and having an opportunity to come to schools and interact with the youth, being able to create some special memories. Maybe a message will stick with them and help them achieve one of their dreams and goals.
It's just a once-in-a-lifetime experience to be out here and really get to see another country, get a chance to play basketball somewhere around the world. So I'm just really enjoying this experience.
That's what it's all about. It's about inspiring future generations on both sides of the Atlantic. This week it's Dublin, next week it's London, showing our young people that their future is filled with endless opportunities.
This is just the beginning for Inspirus in their global strategy to reconnect the world through sport and education and promote their mission to inspire us all through sport.
Welcome back to the Copperbox Arena in London. It is the London Basketball Classic. It is the second semi-final of this tournament, and it is Princeton with a 33-32 lead over Army. It's been a fantastic first half. Of course, the winner will play Northeastern in Saturday's final. The loser will play Manhattan College. It's Mike Tuck, Kieran Achara alongside me. It's been a game that Army started really well. Princeton came back, and now we're set up for an exciting second half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, from the get-go, it looked like Army really took to the ball early, and they did a great job on both ends of the floor, really plugging up the holes on defense, and then offensively kind of picking them apart. But then as the game got on, Princeton got a lot more settled in, a lot more comfortable, and we saw, you know, the Newcastle kid, Tosin, really step up and get them going on the offensive end.
I mean, at halftime, though, we were treated to a phenomenal display of shooting. We saw him earlier, Dave Hopler, who shooting coach, played in Belfast for St Galls, has been a shooting coach for so many NBA players, the Knicks as well, was beating his own world record for most free throws in a minute. I mean, we've all seen him practice. I saw him come in this afternoon. He was warming up for this. He is an unbelievable technique.
Yeah, he is a legendary guy. If you haven't heard of him before, Dave Hopler, look him up. He's a shooting coach from the States. He's coached at every single level. He's been a shooting coach for NBA players, for college players, for high school players, and international players. He's just a legendary guy and quite the character as well. He's a great guy. So good to see him out here supporting the event, and didn't break his record today, but we had fun watching him try.
He'll keep going. He'll keep trying to beat it, because that's all he does. That is what his life is about shooting. It's about phenomenal shooting. Let's talk about the shooting of these two teams here. Early on, Army were really strong. 3 of 8, though, from three-point range. Towards the end of that first half, Kieran, they started to pull it back. Princeton, 12 of 33 from the field. And the Brit, the home country king, I can't want to say hometown king, but let's be specific on it, Tosha Nwoma, he really came alive there. 5 of 6 shooting for 12 points.
Yeah, he definitely did. And we said he got off to a quiet start because the way they were clogging the paint, he just never had any opportunities to get the ball going, And then he gets one offensive rebound, gets a putback, and literally it was like a switch. He completely lit up. Confidence was there. Started to get attacking downhill, and even with the clogged paint, found spaces to get to the basket. And it just turned the game around.
Princeton were the favourites coming into this, Mike, but you think now that Nwoma's got that momentum behind him. He's coming through the break. He's started to find ways to be effective in the post. I mean, he's such a great offensive presence because he can bring the ball up, he can take control of an offense, but Army will have to find new ways to stop probably the rest of Princeton's team.
Yeah, definitely. I think, that's something that they'll definitely be talking about in the locker room at halftime. Who are we going to stop? Who's been hurting us? But what were we doing well in that first half, and what went wrong towards the end? And, Princeton's a team that are heavily favored in this game, but haven't really stepped up to the challenge to their full potential.
And the thing that scares me is that, so Princeton shot 3 of 18 from the floor, that they can shoot the ball. If they get that 3-point shot going as well, it could be a long night for Army.
Won the all-time series. Army won the last meeting back in 2009. Who will take the advantage? First blood of this second half, though.
And still really surprising to see Princeton still throwing the double team at the post player there. That's probably the second or third time that they've given up a point because the double team has exposed another player.
Charlie Peterson Jr. the first score. And the second at the other end to Matt Aloko.
And Aloko's been a great little offensive presence out there for Princeton all night. Pretty consistent through and through.
11 points for him. Drive into the lane from Benson. Stopped in his tracks. 3 officials here this evening: Nathan Hall, Adam Vandenberg, and Ed Corbett Jr. A physical game, very competitive.
And right now, Nwoma, Aloko, they're used to scoring for Princeton, but the Kelman's been kept really quiet. Kelman averaging 15 points per game as a senior, not had a single bucket just yet. So Princeton do have a lot more to offer offensively.
Keyshawn Kelman, who's really worked on improving his conditioning over the off-season. Really had to, only played 18 games over his previous 2 seasons for the Tigers, who trail by 1. Pierce battling in for his own rebound, gets it inside, in traffic, drew the foul. Where did he find the room?
And Pierce only connecting on 1 shot earlier tonight, but I've really liked the energy that he's brought into this game. I think he's been the aggressor when he's needed to be in. This is a great play for him right here, you know, able to get up, draw a foul, doesn't finish it, but draws a foul, able to get to the line.
Pierce's brother Justin plays professional basketball in Europe, in Montenegro. Came out of North Carolina. There's their brother, Alec, a wide receiver with the Indianapolis Colts in the NFL.
Quite a decent gene pool, that.
Yeah.
Lead restored. Back and forth we go. Man in the post, scores off the glass. 4 of 8 shooting.
And that's what Moore looking like what Man's been doing all season so far for them. He's been leading the team in scoring, 17.2 points so far.
Very consistent, 57% shooter from the field. Great shooting there, though, from Matt Oloko. Leads the Tigers on 13. Ready start to this second half over the first 2 minutes. Feed inside, the reverse won't fall. Keyshawn Kelman still looking for his first points of this ball game.
And that's what happens when you get into foul trouble sometimes. You know, it just kind of distorts your rhythm. Kelman picking up those 2 fouls in that first half.
No go there for Army. More patient offense from Princeton. Patient score though for Woma.
Good patience, a good presence of mind there. Saw that a smaller defender in Rucker on Tosin Ebuwaman. Called for the mouse in the house play. Good finish.
Rucker had a great first half, misses that one.
And there's number 3 for Kelman.
That is goal of Keyshawn Kelman.
Look at Toshan Awoma as Mark Mulholland, the director of this event, puts his headphones on to chat to us in a moment. But you look at Awoma, Kieran, going to Princeton. It's not a school that produces a lot of NBA players, but he's got great size. He's got great ball control as a kind of point forward. He plays great defense. You know, when he talks about the NBA, it's not the impossible dream.
It's right there, and for me, it's just extending that range. If you can learn to get that shot down a little bit more consistently, because at that next level, you're going to have to be able to shoot, you know. And I think for me, all the fundamentals are there. He's got the IQ. Really important too. He's a very calm, collect player. You know, he doesn't let his emotions take advantage of him as well. So I think he's got a great upside, and I definitely believe he has the body and the skill set to be at that level.
Mark Mulholland's with us, who's the man who makes this all happen. We'll call him the magician behind the scenes. How's it been like? What's it like now? It's been months in the making. Good evening with basketball.
It's been years in the making, I think, to be honest with you. We've been working on this for a while. And listen, I just want to say, first thing, it's great to be sitting here with like this royalty here, basketball royalty.
This has been a great game.
I love coming here. There's always so many showers of compliments.
Yeah. I love it because I know you're not talking about me.
Listen, I am talking about you. You know I have a fond spot for you. For this, look, it's been an amazing journey, to be honest with you, to actually tip off the first NCAA college basketball tournament in the UK, going from Northern Ireland two in Belfast, then one in Dublin last week, and now we're in England as well. So it's just been absolutely fantastic. We're very lucky. This is a great arena. Obviously home of the London Lions, and there's a lot of great things that have been happening here from a cultural point of view with basketball. So it's great to have these 4 teams here and finally get tipping off. Hopefully we'll keep getting the great games that we're getting here.
Mark, when you give people a flavour of watching this, what goes into this? You talk about years in the making. Obviously you've got 4 teams. We know the logistics of all the things that these teams come with. What's the challenges of putting this together on a stage like this?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge. But one thing that I would say, and if you have the right people around you, you can make good things happen, and that's one of the keys for us. We work very closely with Michelle Perry, who's been an absolute star, working with us and understanding the needs of the NCAA teams, the players, and everybody. There's a lot of elements that need to tie in together, and that's really important for us to do that. Is focusing on how we can transition from the FIBA game into the NCAA game, and making sure people understand it. A lot of people don't kind of get that, but it takes time. It takes a wee bit of education, and I think that's one of the important parts for us.
I think, Mark, when you've seen the scale of this event, it's brilliant to see so many people here on a Thursday night. I know there'll be bigger crowds on Saturday for the finals. You must get a real sense of satisfaction of not just of the spectacle, but there's been such great things that all the teams have said about this, from the players and the coaches, about having this opportunity to showcase themselves, showcase basketball, but also get something from it as people, as individuals.
Mark, do you know what? These teams have been absolutely fantastic. They've been out in the community. They've been out working with the West Ham Foundation that we've been working with here on the ground, meeting young kids, helping them learn more about basketball, going from soccer to football, all of those things. Mike, you know all about it, and trying to make sure that their kids, the players that are there, get more than just the basketball. They get out into the community, they get a learning experience, and for me that's been the big thing. Watching these teams, we have been very, very lucky. People, I suppose Gareth says you're not lucky, Mark. You're actually a scientist. You recruit the right kind of teams, and when you get that balance, you actually start to get people who believe in what you're doing. When we created Inspirus Sports off the back of the Sport Changes Life Foundation, the idea was it's to inspire as many people as possible. It's not just about inspiring the kids in the stands. It's about actually raising the bar for the kids that are here playing on the court, trying to aspire to be a professional like these 2 gents here. It's not just about, yes, there's the opportunity to go to the NBA, but there's a vast array of how to be a professional in the game, and I think that's what's really important for these guys, so that they can get an opportunity to be seen overseas but still play the NCAA college basketball.
And last night you had a great event. This is on the Olympic Park where the London 2012 Olympics was. The stadium, the main stadium, was the Athletic Stadium, not a home of West Ham, and you got to showcase that a little.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We want everybody to feel part of this. This is the most important part of it. You can't do anything on your own. You have to do it with partners. You have to bring everybody together, and that's how change can happen. That's how people can really inspire the next generation, and it's important for us to be able to do that. So we had a great event. We were able to thank all of our partners, thank our investors, and now it's really about actually trying to see, you can see the kids in the crowd that are really, really enjoying themselves. I was just speaking to the GM of the Copper Box, and he said to me, it feels like there's 4,000 people, here because of the way in which they're acting, and culturally we find that different as a crowd, and the crowds that we have. The Americans really buy into this kind of March Madness feel. You can see Princeton have brought a fantastic contingent with them, and it's brilliant to be able to actually have that, cheering and shouting for the local guy Tizan obviously as well.
Well, it's been a phenomenal event. You and your team, as always, doing a brilliant job. We're really looking forward to the rest of this game and Saturday.
and 2 more great games of basketball.
Yeah, hopefully, I'll not talk as much as Gareth, but I'll leave you guys to it, and we'll enjoy the rest of this game, okay?
Mark Holland, the tournament supremo, the magician behind all this, joining us here as Princeton lead 43-40, 14 minutes left in the second half, still all to play for.
And that was a big offensive foul there by Kelman for his 4th foul. One of the difference makers for Princeton. Let's see how that pans out.
Chris Mann, feet inside. Mann was looking outside. They can't find him. Shotcroft's at 3. They'll need to take this. Foul though.
And that was an interesting call, because I'm wondering if that was 3 seconds there, if that was in the actual college free throw line or if it was a pro free throw line. It'd be great to see if we could get a replay of that.
3 points the gap. Lee, a few big buckets that spark things midway through the first half. Draws the foul. Peterson picking up his 3rd foul. Lee perfect, 2 of 2 from his first trip to the foul line earlier. Really want to build his confidence up this season. Really someone that can develop into quite the player. And of course, before Mike says it, he has some Toronto,
He's
so
just
plenty
from
of pedigree.
Toronto, Canada. Beautiful, amazing city. If you haven't been, go. Make sure you go in the summer, though.
I've been in the summer. It's quite nice. I endorse that verdict.
You want to steer clear January, February.
Up and under from Rucker. Strong to the basket is 13 points.
Rucker has been leading the way for Army all night. Another strong play from him. He's a guy that plays way bigger than his actual size.
And it's interesting to see there's Mann and Rucker that they take their turns getting hot and cold.
Yeah. And even Mann a little bit, he's doing a lot of his damage down on the post, and just, big fella, but not the biggest in the world. So both guys playing bigger than their actual height.
Off Jared Cross's foot as he tried to go baseline.
Benson checks back into the game for Rucker.
Look, small little turnovers like that in a game that's this close, you're going to be kicking yourself down the stretch here if the game ends up one way or another, that you've those are give me plays for the other team.
Lee, the kick out to Pierce. Princeton looking for the opening, perhaps in the lane, and yes, the finish from Maloko. 15 points he has.
Maloko doing a great job rejecting the screen there and taking what the defense gives him. An easy drive to the basket.
Step back from Small, doesn't go. Lob inside. Traveling.
And there's that
speed.
Patented backdoor offense from Princeton, the offense that got them famous. Cutting backdoor and the high-low pass there, able to draw a foul and maintain possession of the basketball.
It's still all to play for. Execution defensively is so important for both these teams at this stage of the year. The pressure that Army's been able to put on just probably in the perimeter is just enough to keep Princeton within reach, Kieran.
Well, I felt that, Army, especially in that first half earlier on, they kept their shape. They knew exactly what they're playing. Princeton's now trying to exploit that, like Mike had mentioned there, going backdoor, kind of making them think about what they're doing, and that, for me, that's the difference in the game. You know, they've just found a way to kind of penetrate and get to the hole, which they weren't getting at the start of the game.
Well, it's that expectations that Princeton have. I mean, last year they were the Ivy League champions and set a record, 79 points per game, a really high-octane offense. And you look at some of the players that have come through Princeton over the years. I mean, we talk about Pete Carroll, a legendary big man coach over the years. You got David Blatt, of course, went on to coach Russia, coached the Cavs for a season, so much success in Europe. A player that we know for different ways. Craig Robinson, famously the brother of Michelle Obama. What people don't know, 2 seasons at Manchester Giants.
I do know that, because believe it or not, I listened to, he gave us a talk. I'm a part of the Atlantic 10 Racial Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Board, and he gave us a talk, and he heard my accent and told me he played in the British League. So what I didn't know was he was Michelle Obama's brother. So,
done some research there, Mark.
He was a very good player, actually, when he came over as well. It's interesting.
I believe he played one season with the Sharks. Did he not?
He's a good coach too.
I did not see that in his Wikipedia page, but who knows?
Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of a different Robinson.
And next you're going to tell me he's Canadian. So
that's Mark Robinson you're thinking of.
I'm thinking of Mark Robinson. Sorry, guys.
Our son is playing in the Manchester Giants now.
There you go. That's the Giant connection.
Yeah, a lot of talent has found its way through the British League. Of course, our coaching tree quite huge with NBA coaches aplenty. Nick Nurse in Toronto, Chris Finch in Minnesota, of course, Mike Budenholzer, former Scottish League star in his playing days, champion with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Played over
a global game.
A strong EuroLeague player, CJ Wallace, was also a Princeton grad.
Princeton able to hit a 3 after a little bit of a dry spell there, bringing them up to 4 3-pointers on the night.
Making just 2 of the last 10 shot attempts. Need a roll. Can it come right now? Long range effort from Colton Benson off the rim. 11 to play. Lee is open from downtown and takes advantage.
How quick is his release?
Such a quick release, and you know we always talk about the frame. He's not as big, he's not as strong as other players, but with that quick release now in this day and age, being able to shoot the ball is such a skill that, if you have that with such a quick release, there's always a chance of putting points on the board.
8 consecutive points in a row for the Tigers, their biggest lead of the game at 10. What do Army need to do? What's the adjustment now as we near the sort of midway point in this second half, Mike?
Well, I think that there's a defensive adjustment to be made, definitely. I think the scoring flow for Princeton has looked a lot easier. The rotations on Army have slowed down, and they need to maybe slow this game down and make it more of a grittier game in the half court. Slow them down, run them off the line. Let's beat them in the paint with our size and our strength.
And it's Princeton really getting out in transition, Kieran. I mean, they've upped the pace here. All those buckets coming within just 65 seconds on that 8-0 run here. They're running it. They're moving out. They're getting up the court and beating the defense.
And for a lot of that is what the shots Army are taking down at the other end. When you start kind of rushing your shots, you're putting up not great shot attempts. It makes it easy to get out in the break. Army need to also look to get kind of good looks around the basket, easier scores, and if they are shooting, they're shooting with confidence. Once the ball is moved, they've got those open looks.
Well, the fans here at the Copper Box enjoying it, getting in the spirit of this. 2 more games to come on Saturday, a 3rd place game, and then the final beyond that as well. There are still tickets available. Just search London Basketball Classic. Get here in person. If you can't, you'll be able to join me and Mike for those 2 games on Saturday. But who will it feature? The final, we know, will feature Northeastern. The 3rd place game will feature Manhattan. Their opponents to be decided ideally over the next 11 and a quarter minutes. But who knows, earlier on they went to overtime. Can it do so again?
But as I said, still plenty of time remaining.
Army already out on the court. Princeton taking their full time to talk things over. Gentle nudge from the officials.
Let's see if Army can get a nice, good basket to get their confidence back.
And there you go. You know, Army going inside to Mr. Consistent, man. 11 points on the night, shooting 50%. This is a basket high percentage shot, something you know you can get, and that's where Army needs to look at right now. And like Kieran mentioned, coming out of a timeout, you really want to get a score, especially when you've been on a scoring drought for over 2 minutes. So, man, connected on that first one there, breaks their drought. Hopefully breaks that trend.
Chris Mann, who's averaged 18.3 points over his last 3 appearances. Tally now at 12 this evening.
And I always say I like when you can get to the free throw line because it makes sure that the defense is always set. It's very, very hard to break when a team's at the free throw line. So it really kind of slows down Princeton.
Army dropping back into a zone here. Giving a different look on the defensive end.
O'Connell, though, it goes inside and gets the and one. His first score of the game, his first shot of the game.
Just look at the patience of Princeton here, not shooting the ball early in the shot clock, wearing down the defense, making them rotate, and able to get an easy one under the basket for O'Connell.
Jacob O'Connell can't convert the free throw, though. Lead at 11.
11 points, largest lead of the game now for Princeton.
Colton Benson into traffic, steps back. Rebound hauled down by Pierce.
And that was a good look there by Benson. And let's see if Princeton can break the zone again.
They're using O'Connell as a pivot in the centre, and on the outside, Peters is deadly.
I've got a sneaking suspicion Army will get out of that zone.
I had a feeling as well, but Princeton, that ball is pinging around. They're moving it, playing unselfish.
Blake Peters, we know how well he can make threes. Gets another.
Princeton making Army work for every possession, every bucket that they have to get.
There it is again. 3 threes already, not a fourth yet. Man, crossover. Downtown from Pierce extends the Princeton lead. Another 8 consecutive points and a timeout swiftly called by Jimmy Allen. With 9:02 to play. Caden Pierce now with 7 points in this game. And you really sense, Mike, that it's slipping away from Army. They need a radical adjustment here, and it's all about the perimeter.
Yeah, well, I think, Army made that adjustment to drop back into that. It almost looked like a diamond and one, kind of a diamond zone or a 3-2, but he's going to want to quickly change from that. Princeton are starting to find their rhythm from beyond the arc, and we all know that if you sit back in a zone, that the one thing you will leave open is a three-point shot. So Princeton doing a good job of recognizing the zone, and that ball is just pinging around. Everybody's touching it. There's not a lot of dribbles. It's really hard to guard the basketball when it's being passed around instead of just guys with their head down dribbling. So great job of pinging the ball around and finding the open man on the perimeter.
And it's a 16-1 run for the Tigers, Kieran. And it's been built on patience and good passing and setting up good shooting opportunities.
Yeah, and that's the risk you take when you go into zone. But Princeton looked like they were well prepared for it. They penetrated the zone with the pass. You know, and it made it really, really hard for Army to recover. And the scary thing is, you know, Princeton want to shoot the three. That allowed them to shoot the three with a high percentage shot, you know, uncontested shots.
Rucker with the drive over the outstretched arms of O'Connell.
Another
much needed score. Yeah, much needed score there by Rucker
there.
Princeton just missing 1 of their 7 shots in the last few minutes. Could this be another one? A loco from deep. Rebound into the hands of Colton Benson. Stumbles as he thought about the shot. Knocked out of bounds. Timeout here at Copper Box.
And you know that zone by Army, Princeton 9 points, you know, from that zone. The 4 offenses that Princeton had, they converted on 3 of them. You know, and that's deflating. You know, when you make those strategic changes and you get punished within them, you drop the head a little bit. You maybe start to lose belief in it. So glad they got out of that zone, but at the same time they need to score down the other end.
And what good, I guess, from Mitch Henderson tonight, despite the early struggles, you know, he's been pleased with the way they've come back, but he's been able to use a lot of his roster this evening. He's been able to try different players. You see they're creating opportunities in different ways. You look at Iwoma just playing 14 minutes so far, so they've given other people an opportunity to come on this trip, get experience, show what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what these trips are about, right? Guys getting experience, guys, you know, playing together, getting more used to playing with each other and playing as a cohesive unit. But in this game, for me, it's Army. Army needs to start scoring the ball. They've struggled on the offensive end here, whereas Princeton have excelled, have taken advantage of what the defense has given them.
And Matt Oloko, that we really know can score so well, but he's taken up the mantle tonight. And again, shot very good shots, 6 of 12 from the field, 10 defensive rebounds as well.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing a great job of, you know, taking care of the boards. But yeah, Army right now, you know, we've had some great explosions from Rucker and from Mann. We're going to need to see more efforts from the rest of their guys now. You know, those are the only 2 guys over in double figures right now.
You've got players like Ethan Roberts, who have got off to a really good start this season, been held to 3 points both games. He's a guy who can get hot quick. So there is players out there who can put points on the board.
Rucker, lob to Peterson, fakes the handoff, gets the return off the glass and will go to the line.
A beautiful finish there from Peterson, and that's exactly what you want coming out of a timeout. The pick and roll action here, rolls to the basket. Kelman a little bit late, arms overstretched. The bump in the and one. An opportunity from the line and cut this lead down from 13 to 12.
And that's Kelman out of the game. That's his 5th foul. And, you know, again, another player who could put points on the board, just being in foul trouble all night tonight. And it's, you know, it's been disappointing, but Princeton have been able to carry the weight and find other ways to score.
Yeah, 0 for 3 from the field for Kelman this evening. 2 rebounds as well. Opportunity to come back though on Saturday, make more of an impact. Time from Peters, won't fall.
Hand check there on Lee.
And all of a sudden here with 7 minutes left, you know, we've seen Kelman go out on 5. Lee picking up his 4th foul. Foul trouble could become an issue here for Princeton if they're not careful.
Miss from Ness.
A rare miss at the free throw line for Army.
Awoma.
A replay here. Tosin going to work. Army reaching in.
You see how they clog the paint though. Every time a Roma catches at the top of the key, there's just someone there putting an arm out, you know.
Well, that's what happens when you're the poster boy for the event.
Spin inside.
Definitely putting him on the scout sheet.
You always remember on those scouting reports, you're like, keep them under their average, you know.
That's it.
Well, he's right there. He's right at his average.
Big 3 from the wing from Roberts. Reduces the gap into single figures.
Talked about Roberts being one of the guys that needs to step up. He had been 0 for 5 before that shot, and that was a big shot for him. Get the confidence going. 6 minutes left in regulation here to try and pull it back.
Peters from deep responds in kind.
Unreal shot from Peters. That's his 4th 3 of the night. And very timely shot as well.
Bullet pass inside, taken, finished by Mann.
That was a tough finish there. Nice strong cut, good left hand finish, stayed composed.
Wonderful cut, real awareness there though to get the ball to him in that position.
Real strong play from Mann there. And all of a sudden we're seeing a lot more life out of this Army team. I think the awareness that we're within the last 6-5 minutes here, they're really picking up the effort.
The only problem is for every 2 they're scoring, Princeton are scoring a 3.
Mann with 15 points. Old-fashioned bounce pass there. Boom! Bomb once again from the outside from Peters.
Peters.
5th 3-pointer of this game.
2 in a row for Peters. He's got the hot hand right now.
Princeton chance to extend. Well, they're all trying it now.
The senior trying to get in the action.
Check.
Nice pass.
And the finish.
Big play. That's 2 huge baskets for Peterson down the stretch here.
And now he gets in on the action.
And like Kieran said, every time Army does something right, they erase it by letting an easy one go in down the other end.
Control from Roberts. Needs some help though. Gets it in the shape of Mann on the charge. Knocked away. Line ball. Great defense there from Princeton. 12-point ball game, 4-24. Peters heads to the bench, gets requisite and deserved high fives from his teammates. Pearson tries to find a gap inside, but nowhere to go. very effective in just 9 minutes of play. And that is very effective indeed from Ryan Landberg.
Effective is the key word there. These guys, you can see the cohesiveness that these guys have as a team, moving the ball around, sharing the ball. They know where everybody's going to be. They make the extra pass. Big shot for Princeton down the stretch here.
Terrific confidence. Missed his first 6 3-point attempts. Keeps on going. Gets it at 7th time lucky. Lead is 15.
And Princeton are 50% from the 3 in this second half. They were 3 of 18 in that first half. They're now 10 of 32.
Man on the break, stuffs it in.
Okay. Man, with some sneaky bounce out there on the break. And Princeton giving up an easy 2 down the other end off the turnover.
Chris Mann leads Army with 17 points now and 7 of 13 shooting. 3 minutes 13. We know basketball's never over to. It's a game of runs. There is time for the comeback. Army, though, will need to keep that kind of pressure up, force mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, Army right now, it's do or die time. You know, down 13 with 3 minutes. You've got to stop the bleeding. You've got to stop them scoring on the defensive end, and then down on the other end, you need to get some easy baskets and some quick baskets as well.
And we talked about it, you know, we talk about Princeton wanting to shoot the 3 or get the ball inside. They found a way to do both in this second half, and every time Army are getting those tough scores, Princeton are coming down the other end, ping, knock down 3-point throw. It's really hard to win a game when a team is shooting so good.
See those quality of shooting there. That has given Army with a huge headache there as Jimmy Allen, 7th season, tries to rally his team. Very new coaching staff at West Point this year. There's big coaches that have come through there in the past, none bigger than Bobby Knight and Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski. Does have a very good winning record in London. Came here with Duke many years ago and obviously coached the US to the Olympic title back in 2012. A run built on their extraordinary exhibition victory over Kieran Achara in Great Britain before the tournament, as he would have us believe.
That was a rough night.
But what an experience.
On and off the court.
What an experience, honestly.
I mean, Kieran, you must have very happy memories of this Olympic Park.
Yeah, you know, so many memories, and even walking over tonight, like you seeing the village and just thinking the memories. It's a great experience. It's something I'll always be proud of, and something when I'm here, I always have to think about, you know, the gratitude that I have for achieving what I did.
See, my big Olympic memory, or I have an Olympic memory that's linked to your biggest Olympic memory, because when you were on fire at the Olympics leading GB to their sole victory, I was here at the start of the game, and the only time I came to watch any sport that I wasn't being paid to watch as my job was when I came to the Copper Box to watch Great Britain against Iceland. As you know, the Olympics are long days when you're working. I was asleep for much of the handball game that I came to watch, and then woke up and saw that Great Britain were on course for the biggest win, that you were doing rather well, and I left the handball, came and saw the end of the game. I wasn't going to miss it, you know. Small slice of history. Had a lot of coffee that day. No reason to sleep here. It's been very, very exciting. 2:40 to go on the first night of the London Basketball Classic. We'll do it all again Saturday. Inside goes Peterson.
And that's the play you need from Army here. We've seen they came out with a lot more defensive energy there, not able to hold them, but whatever could go right for Army right now is going right. Big play from Benson there.
Well, that really was taking one for the team.
And that's Lee fouled out. You know, and Lee's had a great game tonight. You know, he really has. He's found a way to penetrate, get this shot going. You know, but that's Kelman now and Lee both fouled out.
9 points in 21 minutes. Xavier Lee. Drive inside from Mann, who now has 19 points.
And he stepped over the line, turned the ball over there, Ivwoma.
Incredible energy from Army right here. Able to get the score, able to get the lead under 10 and force a turnover here.
6-0 run over the last 66 seconds. Princeton with 3 turnovers in very quick succession. Well, almost a turnover. Army recover. 7 seconds will remain in the shot clock. Less than 2 minutes to play. It ain't over yet. Don't start on the pumpkin pie until we're done. Drive inside.
Peterson has came to play tonight.
So 14 points and 6 rebounds, 8-0 run, 7 points. The gap.
A big defensive possession for Army right here. If they can get a stop, you got a minute 30 left to try and make up that lead.
Princeton over 2 minutes without a score. They really could do with one now to steady the nerves. Scramble for the rebound. Princeton get it though.
And that is deflating, you know.
Timeout called by Princeton. Mitch Henderson wanting to talk something over.
Yeah, I think that was a great timeout call by Henderson. Obviously, in NCAA, you're allowed to call a timeout when you have possession of the ball, just not on a whistle like in FIBA rules. And he'll be looking to draw up a good play here for them to get a good score to give them a little bit more insurance as we head into the final minute of play here.
They will look, you suspect, to Ivwoma for something. Quiet second half. He said 14 points. We haven't seen much of him in this second half. Played 27 minutes tonight. You think now you look at the size that he's got. If you're looking for simple plays to get things back on track, he really should be option number 1.
Yeah, I think they'll try and run a little bit of clock. You know, they've got the time on their side, get a good look. I'm going for a Peters jump shot at this moment in time. You know, he got a little bit of the hot hand. But you're right.
Well, Peters has returned to the play. We thought we'd seen the last of him a few minutes ago, and he went to the bench. Necessity breeding the change. Foul on Colton Benson. He picks up his first foul of the game.
His first personal 16 foul for Army. And back into the game for the Tigers.
Well, go to the bench.
Who sits down with 14-point personal and a wonderful performance from the lads from Newcastle back on these shores.
We're thinking about free throws and who are the better free throw shooters at this moment in time.
Second quick foul of Benson. Rucker just talking to Jimmy Allen. Instructions passed on. Coming out of these free throws, Ivwoma swiftly back into the fray. Lamberg's first trip to the foul strip. Makes the first, will get thus the second.
Smooth as you like on the one-on-one. I remember how nervous I used to get in the one-on-one.
First scores in almost 3 minutes, but very important for Princeton. They lead by 9, a minute to go. Rucker.
Oh, in and out.
Foul inevitably comes. Clock not
A
great
look at the basket there from Rucker. He's going to be disappointed with that one didn't drop. And Princeton doing a good job. It was a little bit chaotic on the rebound, but able to weather the storm, pull the ball in, and force Army to foul to stop the clock.
Miss for a loco. Man on the charge. Blocked by Landborg. And will that be it? Another trip to the foul line to come for Princeton. Smile on the face of Tosan Owoma.
And that was a real rush shot there by Benson, but unbelievable block.
Perfect 3 of 3 from the foul line.
He is ice in the veins tonight from the free throw line. Really stepping up when it matters.
10 points the gap once more. Stays at 10. Another critical offensive rebound for Princeton, who will surely hold this. And yes, they do. And it will be Princeton heading into the final on Sunday. 5 on the shot clock. Rebound taken. Benson with the lob inside towards Peterson. Does he add one more for a bit of a flourish? Eventually he does. 16 points for Charlie Peterson. And that will be it. It is victory for Princeton. They have beaten Army 74-66. And it has been an impressive performance. Room for improvement perhaps on Saturday in the eyes of Mitch Henderson. But the Tigers, Kieran, really good value for that victory in the end.
Yeah, they just got it going from the 3-point line in that second half, which was enough to take this game, get it over the edge. And I think Princeton, they've actually got another level to their game that they still to show, and they're probably going to keep that until Saturday.
Well, the crowd here tonight have had 2 terrific games of basketball. It has really been great stuff in the first night of this tournament. And there you go, the Princeton fans. They've travelled from across the Atlantic, or they've travelled from the far reaches of the financial district of London. Have been well entertained. They've seen their team lose. Army battling very hard tonight. But in the end, it is the Tigers there on court who are able to celebrate the victory by 8 points. But let's look at some of these highlights. And it was really good shooting and execution in that second half that did it, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, the execution from Princeton was next level in that second half. And, very high IQ team, very high level team. They were, when Army dropped back into that zone, they were able to ping the ball around and find the open man. But, Rucker there, hell of a night for him. He really tried to make his points count there. And Peterson, the man of the fourth quarter, the second half there for Army, really stepping up. We saw such good flashes of play from Army, but Princeton just a much more well put together game, a more well executed game, and it looked like they stuck to the game plan. But another guy for Army there, Chris Mann.
And Kieran, it was
phenomenal play from him, and athletic player.
And Kieran, shooting struggles there for Army in that second half, just shooting 43% from the field against Princeton's 50, but from 3-point range they really struggled. 1 of 8 in that second half at a time when Princeton made 7 from beyond the arc, and that really separated at times when Princeton were just able to get the momentum going.
Yeah, and the interesting thing for me too is Army dropped to the zone and Princeton were ready for it, but actually they got their confidence from 3 then. They started knocking down the 3, finding the open man and knocking down shots. And it was a really, really big momentum change for Princeton.
Well, we've had 2 great games tonight. The schedule for Saturday at 2:30, it will be Manhattan against Army in the third place playoff. And then at 5 p.m. UK time, that's 12 p.m. Eastern, Princeton will be back here and they'll be playing Northeastern to decide who will be the inaugural winners of the London Basketball Classic. If you're in London, you're in the UK, you want to be here, there are still tickets available. Just search online. It will be an afternoon of sport you will not want to miss. If not, you'll be able to join Mike and I live right here on the Hoopsfix YouTube channel. Guys, it's been great having you. Kieran, I know you're not joining us on Saturday. I'm sure you'll be watching us from afar.
For
Mike,
sure.
It'll be great to see you again on Saturday afternoon. We'll be back here for that. It promises to be more fantastic basketball as NCAA Hoops comes to the UK. From me, Mark Woods, thank you all so much for joining us on this Thanksgiving. We'll see you soon.
Get up when I fall. No lie, man, I've been here before. It was hits cold before the war. I'm unstoppable. Hard work, all day. Go hard, always. Don't quit, no way.
He's open for three. Bingo!
All in, fired up. Watch me, rise up.
Kick out. Telford's triple. Got it.